everyone. Welcome. I am your Heavenly Father. This is the live stream. We have a special treat tonight. The former president, what is his name? Oh, God, you know, the stupid one. Like the one that never made any sense. Anyway, he's going to be a guest on Hannity. So we like to watch that. So we're going to do that tonight. Let's see. We got a few people watching on YouTube. Nobody on Twitch. Nobody on Facebook. Periscope is non-existent anymore. Let me see what Twitter says this is happening right now. I don't know what's going on with the Twitter and Periscope and all that sort of stuff. Okay, good. At least we got the title through. So people are already watching on Twitter, but it's not translating. So hello, quite a few people watching on Twitter. 26 people watching on Twitter. Great. Welcome, guys. We're going to take a look at the Sean Hannity interview with Donald Trump. If you want to chat, feel free. If you're on Twitter right now, say hello in the chat if you can. I don't know what's going on with Twitter. Let's try something. Here, let's do this. Let's bring it over here. We're gonna click on it and see what happens now. On Twitter, but okay, it's not translating. All right, stop it. Just so how do we? What happens when we click? Okay, Periscope's still there. Periscope is saying goodbye. Periscope is grateful to you for going live together and being part of the community. Past public broadcasts, keep the conversation going on Twitter. Got it. How? How do I got it? What am I getting? Hi, Denise. Hi, Ronnie. Oh, okay, so there's plenty of people in there. Hey, Primrose, good. So if you're on Twitter or Periscope, your chat is coming through, so that's good to see. It wasn't a couple of days ago when we last broadcast. I miss you guys. I did. I had a busy weekend. I just reset up the studio here. So everything's a little bit off. I'm just happy you guys can see me multiply. Let's get off of this screen because this will drive everyone crazy. Let's bring up Mr. Trump. Lots of different things going on in the news today. Before we get to Trump, let me see what I sent myself here, because we've got some other stuff to watch. Let me pull this up. I'll pull it up over here. Let's see what this is about. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene from earlier.
File the resolution to...
Let's go back. I'm going to start this off. People are going to hate me right off the bat. Here we go.
I'm headed in to file the resolution to expel Congresswoman Maxine Waters. She flew to Minnesota, crossed state lines, incited riots.
She didn't incite a riot. There were no riots. And she clarified her statement. She said we need to be more confrontational. She was asked about that on Sunday, and she said, no, I don't mean riot. We can look at that, but that's another thing. Should Maxine Waters be a congressperson? No. She's terrible. She represents a district right over here, and she says all kinds of stupid things that could be misinterpreted. That's the problem. And she broke curfew. There's a time to be civilly disobedient, but right now, no, you don't need to be breaking curfew. Don't break the law. Get out there. Protest all day long. Fly to Minnesota. Fly to Florida. I don't care. Fly anywhere you want. Protest. Register people to vote. Vote in elections. There are many things to do. Don't break curfew when people are getting shot and riots are happening. Anyway, but did she incite a riot? No, no actual riot has happened since she said we need to be more confrontational. Now, did Trump ever correct himself and say, you need to fight like hell or you're not going to have a country anymore? Did he ever correct that? No, he never did. He just blamed the media. Thank God, no. This is really well done. I have no idea what she just said. Like, why? Why are you standing outside? First off, why are you doing this? This is just a photo op. Remember, she has no power in Congress. She's a Republican in the House. She's irrelevant. And she sits on no committees. She has absolutely zero power, except the power in her arms to attract other men at the CrossFit.
When died, she also tried to...
Did nobody watch this before they posted it? I've had my headphones on, and I can't understand a word that's happening right now because of the wind. If you guys can hear what she's saying, let me know. I'm done. I'm done with that. We're just going to skip right past that because that is a complete waste of everyone's time. This is something from Daryl on Twitter. I haven't watched these things here. Here we go. Gonna drag it over for you guys. Said here, Daryl just says, "Wow, this is from Chris Evans, who I believe
Your Honor, I have
is
reason to believe.
not Captain America." Judge revokes bond for domestic abuser after prosecutor notices he's in the same room with the victim during the hearing, intimidating the witness. This we have to see.
Your Honor, I have reason to believe that the defendant is in the same apartment as the complaining witness right now, and I'm extremely scared for her safety. And the fact that she's looking off to the side and he's moving around, I want some confirmation that she is safe before we continue. And that wasn't hearsay. We'll get to that in a few moments.
Miss Lindsay, where are you right now?
I'm at a house.
I'm at a house. This is a domestic violence situation. She's at a house.
What's the address?
It's my house.
What's the address?
108 West Hatch.
Okay. Mr. Harris, where are you?
703, Your Honor.
That's on the video. That's not me putting that in. They're blocking where he says he is.
All right. What are you on? A lap?
No. It is obscured. This is not this. No one can see this. I'm looking at this too. This is the witness in the case, the victim, and it's being blurred out when this video was reproduced.
Laptop or a phone?
Me?
This is the bad guy right here. Let me make it smaller so you guys can see. Hold on. I can squeeze this just a little bit so you guys, so at random will stop complaining. Let me do this too. There you go. There's the bad guy. Okay? Better at random, and I'll even show you the judge. There. Happy? We'll get to Trump in a second here. I just wanted to catch up on these things. Things have been happening all day on the Twitters, and I've seen this. I'm familiar with this. I haven't seen the actual footage before, but this didn't happen today.
Yes.
Phone.
All right. I want you to walk out to the front of the house. Show me the house number on the house.
Why? I don't even think this phone has the charge for that, sir. I'm at like 2% right now. I'm hooked up to this wall charger right here.
Your Honor. We're knocking at the door right now for Miss Lindsay.
What?
The police are at Miss Lindsay's apartment right now, knocking on the door.
All right. Ms. Lindsay, would you go answer the door?
Yeah, give me 1 second. You take your phone with you so that I know you're okay.
I've just never seen this footage before. Sometimes we watch the old stuff on here too. We'll get to Trump in a moment here. That's it? I want to see the police come in and get the guy, if that's what's happened. I apologize, guys. I had no idea. All right, this is from Aaron Rupar. He never disappoints. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, this was okay. So apparently there's a Frank social media site, Mike Lindell, My Pillow. I haven't even followed this. I'm not sure what's going on, but apparently Trump is on the phone. Let's see what happens.
Sir, breaking news here with a guest. Hello?
They think it's Trump on the phone.
Hello, yes, I have Mr. Trump on standby. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir. Hello, everyone.
We have the president here, our real president, everyone. Hello, Mr. President.
MacronShow.com, bitches. MacronShow.com.
Okay.
All right.
I
Sorry,
guess that
folks.
wasn't. I guess that was. You see what they're doing? They're attacking us. They're attacking us, and this is what, that even came up. They're hacking into our phones. It came up that it was a legitimate number.
Call.
A legitimate, I know the number's coming from.
Huh, wow. So they spoofed the number and everything.
Yes, sir. Breaking news.
I was going to say impressive, but all right. All right, let's get back to actual Trumpage, shall we? Okay, this, that, the other thing. Here we are.
And swamp. When Donald Trump talks, the world, the country listens. So tonight, for the hour, we welcome the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump. Mr. President, good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you very much, Sean.
All right.
He looks so happy.
All right, so I know a lot of people that are around you every day. This is what they're all telling me. You are working as hard as you did when you were in the White House, except you play a little golf more.
You play a little golf more. I've played golf more back when I was a Morsoff. Not so much when I was a junior. You play a little golf more. But I bet he doesn't even correct himself.
That you're keeping an insane schedule.
Nope. Just play a little golf more. You know what I'd like? I'd like to play a little hockey more. I'd like to play a little tennis more. I'd like to have a little sex more. I'd actually just like to have a little sex, honestly. If you'd like to help me make some money, Matt Gates has sent me a couple of numbers, and if you want to Venmo me that, I can forward that right on to Matt Gates. That'll go directly towards my effort to have some sex. Kevin-Williams-157, please send me money so that I might play a little golf more. If you don't have the Cash App, you can make money yourself. Go use that link up at the top there, up at the top corner. Use the Cash App link if you live in the United States. If you don't have the Cash App, use that link. That's my link. I will get $15 when you spend $5 for the first time, and you'll get that $5 back. I'm giving you $5 free. I don't know how much $15 will get me on the Matt Gates market.
7 days a week. You really don't stop.
Well,
he's playing golf.
we're seeing a lot of people. We're seeing a lot of good Republicans and a lot of good Americans, in some cases great Americans, and we are working very hard. And
remember, he was going to give us a list? He was going to give us a list of the 50 governors and which ones were good and which ones were bad. He promised us that. No one asked for it, but he said he was going to give it to you. Maybe someday I'll give it to you. Christopher Ryan, thank you very much. Christopher, did you get another job? I don't want you donating anything until you have yourself a job, but I really appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you very much. If you'd like to donate through PayPal, whatever it is, that would be awesomeness. I appreciate it. Let me close that. Okay, and we are good to go.
a lot of things to do, plus I'm getting more involved. For a long time, years, I wasn't involved in the business. I'm more involved in the business. We'll see what I do with respect to that, but the business is doing well, and we're doing well. It's been 5.5 years of investigations and hoaxes, and I see something came out just yesterday about
Thank you, Chris.
the Russia was a total phony deal. And
Russia was not a phony deal. Russia was not a thing. No one was Russiaing. They started calling it Russia in order to mock it. But as it turns out, the Treasury Department just let us know that yes, in fact, there was collusion. Klimnik is a Russian agent. That was confirmed by the intelligence service. We know that for sure now. There was collusion. 100% collusion.
they hate to admit it, but intelligence came out.
They were putting a bounty.
Yeah,
on
the bounty,
heads.
the big bounty deal.
Yeah.
And now they
Chris, did you get a job? Congratulations. Also, congratulations, Robert. I'm not sure what we're congratulating Robert on, but congratulations, Robert.
say that it was a hoax, just like everything else. So it's a sad thing. You get impeached for doing nothing wrong, then you get.
That's not accurate either, and he got impeached because he told people to storm the Capitol. And he got impeached because he tried to have the Ukrainian president investigate his political rival, who, by the way, won in a landslide per Trump.
A second impeachment for doing nothing wrong. And so
Both of them, he was impeached for doing something wrong.
it's been pretty wild when you think about it, and very unfair. So we're working very hard.
Wow, that was edited, and that was edited terribly. I wonder what he said there. Something about Dominion? Fox doesn't want to get sued.
it was a hoax, just like everything else. So it's a sad thing. You get impeached for doing nothing wrong, then you get a second impeachment for doing nothing wrong. And so it's been pretty wild when you think about it, and very unfair. So we're working very hard, and
They don't even let him finish the word. It's just sloppy.
I think you're going to see something that will start to take place in 22 and will culminate in 24. And you're going to see a lot of big things and great things for the Republican Party and for the country when you look at the border and all of the things that are going wrong right now. What a shame at the border.
Let's start with Joe Biden.
Ronnie just sent me money on the Cash App. That's awesome. Thank you, Ronnie. If that's the first time you're using Cash App, Ronnie, Cash App's going to give you $5 back. So I appreciate that. And if you haven't used the Cash App before, you live in the United States, when you use the Cash App for the first time, I get a $15 referral. Not from you. The Cash App gives me money. I don't know why they're doing this, but it's really helpful. So thank you very much, Ronnie. Appreciate it. I set up my studio and I don't have my bell. I'm so sorry. Chris, for you. Ronnie, for you. Let's see if somebody else, not as of yet, but if I see things coming in or if someone in the chat room, let me know if you send me some money and I'll be happy to take pictures and send them your way once I actually meet up with Matt Gaetz and the people that he knows.
Now, I get criticized because the Joe Biden
Because everything you say is a lie.
I see now, I can show you tapes of him in 2016. I could show you tapes of him in 2012. And to me, he looks extraordinarily weak, frail. I think it's very transparent. He's struggling cognitively.
It is not. We've gone over this, and every time you show something, it's a complete hoax.
He usually averages less. We follow his schedule very closely.
Sorry, Liberty. We'll do a broadcast one time without these two. Probably tomorrow.
Less than one event a day. What do you see? How do you grade him 3 months in?
So he's going to be 79 years old. That is not old. I know many people in their late 80s that are just as good as they were years ago. I spoke to one who's 90.
How many years ago? How many people in your late 80s do you know that are just as good as they were years ago? If I'm in my late 80s and I'm as good as I was in my early 80s, I'll be happy.
92 years old. He said, I feel better than I did 20 years ago.
He was lying.
78, 79 is not
Was the same guy who told you just had to win 65 million votes? That same guy?
old. But he, look, I don't think it's even
The guy making fun of the other guy's senility is not finishing a sentence.
appropriate for me to comment on that. It sort of speaks for itself, and people can make their own determination. I know that if it were me, they would be up and down going crazy, right?
Up and down going crazy.
But I had an instance where
They would be sticking their right hand in. They would be taking their right hand out. They would be sticking it in. They'd be moving it all about.
on a slippery ramp, piece of steel, very steep and very long.
Yeah.
No railings, no nothing, and it was pouring.
There's a rail! What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh my God. Hold on. You guys watch.
At West Point. And the last thing I want to do is go down, because when Gerald Ford went down, it was not good. Now, when Biden went down, the press didn't cover it. I mean, if you look at...
Well, in fairness, his aide said that the wind, it was very windy, the wind might have blown him over. Did the wind ever blow you over when you were...
Well, Air Force One is a very big plane, and usually what they try and do is shield the wind. You know, when they park it, you can turn it at angles, and so you don't ever have too much. I've never seen too much wind. You can get...
Hold on. We got to show this. That's a 15-minute story. This is... No rails. There are rails on the ramp. See the rails? Otherwise, we would see his feet. No rails. No handrails, perhaps. There are rails on the ramp.
Get a little windy, but not the kind of wind that blows you over. But if you look at mainstream media, or as you say, lamestream media, they didn't cover that. if that were a Republican, in particular, if it was me, that would be the biggest story for the rest of the year.
But let me ask the question from this perspective, because there are hostile regimes and many hostile actors on the world stage. You got a hostile regime in Russia, hostile actor Vladimir Putin, hostile regime in China, President Xi, you dealt with him a lot.
I know.
Kim Jong-un, the mullahs in Iran, looks like Joe's already capitulated on that. Now, you know them well enough. I'm sure they're studying Joe Biden. Are knowing what you know, things that I wouldn't know? Are you concerned about their perception of an American president that seems somewhat frail and weak?
Well, something's going on because they never did this with me, that I can tell you. Nobody was tougher on Russia. And frankly, getting along with Vladimir.
No, nobody said, like, I don't know why it would be. Putin messing with the election, meddling with affairs in the United States. He let him get away with everything.
Vladimir Putin is a good thing. And I got along with him very well.
Again, no one's ever tougher on Russia than me. I got along with Vladimir. That's a good thing. No, you're not getting it. When you're tough with someone, it doesn't mean you have them over to your birthday party. That's not how it works.
Relationship was very good, very strong. But they never encircled Ukraine, and they never
They're still not encircling Ukraine. That is not what's happening.
Taiwan, China, they never sent warships all over the place like they're doing.
They have been for years. They've been building an island in the South China Sea for years.
Now it looks very serious going on with Taiwan. And that's a long way away. That's 9,000 miles away. They're right next to it. That's like...
Oh, okay. That's the way the world works.
I mean, it's like very close. So...
Right. Okay, and?
Now something's going on with Taiwan. Something maybe is going on with Ukraine. This never was a big subject when I was president.
Wasn't at all.
As far as North Korea is concerned, I have a great relationship with a certain man that's got great...
Did you forget his name?
...power over North Korea. And...
He's a dictator, a murderous dictator. He's a despot. Yeah, it's great power. Oh, great power he has.
You take a look at Kim Jong-un and the relationship that I developed. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. Getting along with President Putin is a great thing. You know, we should be doing business with Russia. We should be getting along.
And while you were president, Kim Jong-un developed multi-headed ICBMs, ballistic missiles. And remember, you didn't even understand what a ballistic missile was. Ballistic missiles go way up high and then come down. They can cover more territory. ICBMs means intercontinental. So from one continent, Asia, to another continent, America. And cruise missiles are the kind that just go flat. Those are cruise, but there's multiple kinds of missiles. But basically, ballistic, up and down, cruise missiles. Short range, you can have a short range ballistic missile. And that's what Trump never understood. You test the missiles short range to see what they can do and do the calculations to make them long range. That's how it works.
With Russia, instead of forcing Russia to go into the hands of China, the worst thing you could do is put China and Russia together. And
they are mortal enemies, but okay.
They're together. And they get forced.
They're not together.
Forced together. The Russian hoax was very, very bad for the relationship that we would have with Russia. But I got along well with Putin. I got along.
Yeah, because you said, I don't see any reason why it would be Putin.
Along well with President Xi until the COVID came in, or the China virus, or whatever you want to call it.
COVID's fine.
When that came in, it was
no one says the COVID. Nobody has ever said the COVID.
We made a great trade deal. Our farmers are making more money than they've ever made. Wheat prices are the highest they've ever been. They're doing great because China's buying so much. This was the trade deal that we made. But after COVID, trade just didn't seem that important to me, and we did other things, but it was too bad.
Let me go to one of your signature issues from the first day, the day you came down the escalator, and that had to do with...
That is an absolute lie. Wheat prices were way, way higher in 2008. In fact, they were higher again in 2012 through 2014. This is a 40-year chart of wheat prices, okay? There's 2008. There's 2012. All the way. This is where we are right now, okay? $6.39, okay? Up here, they were $8.98. That's $9. Up there, they were $10. Close to 12 in 2008. So no, that's just an absolute nonsense lie. Congratulations on being first, Joanna. Did I do this? Did I do this for Christopher? I think I did. I think I did this for Ronnie too, right? Ronnie? The judges are gone, by the way. It's too late at night for them to be here, so I had to go get the bell.
Immigration. You instituted policies, stay in Mexico policy. It worked. You built, I think by the end, over 450 miles of new border wall.
Yep.
Obviously,
Replacement.
walls work.
Worked.
They don't. The walls don't work. We all just were horrified by toddlers being dropped over the wall. Did not stop the coyotes from just lifting them up, boop, dropping them down. You want to see people climb the wall? Just Google it. Multiple videos of people whoop, whoop, up and down the wall. Toddlers being dropped over the wall. The wall does not work. The wall is a complete waste of money.
Then, of course, you ended the practice of catch and release. Now we see the exact opposite. You've seen these images on TV. I say they're Biden's case.
This is not the exact opposite. All of these unaccompanied minors would still be here. The stay in Mexico policy did not apply to minors, to unaccompanied minors. Nothing has changed in terms of the unaccompanied minors. Nothing.
Cages. I mean, the media went nuts of Donald Trump is putting children in cages. It turned out.
Jackson, if I was obsessed, I would be broadcasting this live. I'm not. This is like 3 hours ago. I haven't even watched it yet. That's not obsessed. If I was obsessed, I'd be sitting in front of the television with popcorn at 6 p.m. Pacific waiting for Hannity. Come on. I'm not obsessed. I could walk away right now. In fact, I think I will. Good night, everybody. Here are the closing credits. They're there. You know what? We might as well finish. We started this. We might as well keep going with this.
Joe Biden and Barack Obama built those cages, and the images were from 2014, not 2018.
Those are not cages. They just showed us. Those are bubbles. Biden bubbles is what they call it on Fox and Friends.
My question is this.
Yes.
Imagine, well, first of all,
That's not a question.
your overall take on
Your question cannot start with imagine. That's a statement. I can tell just from the first word. Imagine if butterflies were dinosaurs? What?
on how dangerous this is. And number two, imagine if you're president and you have, these are Trump's cages overflowing with kids in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
That with a high
Is this going to end as a question?
positivity of COVID.
Yeah.
What do you think the media, because there's been virtual silence on a lot of the aspects.
Okay, that's the question.
I would argue if it was a daycare center, you'd be shut down and charged with child abuse.
They would not stand for it, and they're playing it.
Right, and that's why many, many more facilities are opening up to handle the influx of unaccompanied minors. The GOP tweeted yesterday, the day before, something like that, Biden's done nothing. Not true. Otherwise, there wouldn't be convention centers full of unaccompanied minors. That didn't just happen.
Down as much as they can play it down. It's a horrible situation.
It was a couple of years ago that Trump had an influx of unaccompanied minors. Also, a huge influx. Was it 2012? It was 2012 or 2014 under Obama. This has happened before. Not to this level of the last couple of months. But you also have clips of Trump being shown in El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, saying the border is open if Joe Biden wins. And then multiple clips of Republican after Republican after Republican saying that America has open borders, which then tells the people down there, head on up. America's open for business. Come on in.
Destroy our country.
Biden hasn't stopped Title 42. The one thing that's changed, really, is that people are not being deported during the first 100 days. but they are too. So it's a lot more of the same. And I think the Biden administration is feeling the heat from the far right saying, oh, we're being invaded. The average American doesn't really seem to care all that much. Yeah, there's a bunch of kids. I feel terrible. But it's not like these kids are suddenly burning down the cities. By the way, I live in a suburb still not on fire. Not a single can of soup being thrown through my window yet.
People are pouring in, but you'll see something.
Yes, the Trump administration instituted child separation or family separation, where they would take the children away from the families. The last time I looked, which is a couple of weeks ago, there were still 450 orphans that the United States created. These are not unaccompanied minors that were sent to the United States where they might have a parent or close relative here in the United States to contact that then the government could give to this is your niece, this is your daughter. We don't know why they were sent here, but here they are. Trump separated families, deported the adults or put the adults in jail, and didn't keep track of from whom the children came. So we have 450 orphans in this country created by the United States government.
As the months go by, like you've never seen before. Already it's like you've never seen before. There's never been anything like what's happened at our border.
It's been lots of things. I just went over a couple of situations that are just like what's happening at our border.
And people are coming in by the tens of thousands. They're walking in. All he had to do is leave it alone. If he left it alone.
Not true. COVID is waning now. People are coming back. The economy is about to explode. People are coming back.
We were setting record positive numbers, and people.
Bye, LP. Good night, Robert. Or no, maybe Robert's leaving, and LP's staying. Good night, Robert. Good night, LP, if you're leaving.
People would have to come.
Thank you, Ronnie.
In legally, and you know the other thing that people don't talk about: human trafficking and drugs. That's doubled, tripled, and quadrupled coming in because that's pouring in right now. Drugs are pouring in. We had it so tight. We were doing so.
We did not. That's nonsense.
Well, all he had
there's been no interruption of drug flow into this country.
To do is leave it alone. Stay in Mexico is a big deal. You know, that wasn't easy to get. We went through court systems. We went through everything. The wall, getting the wall built, and the wall, we're up to almost 500 miles, and completing it was very easy. That was going to be just routine. It would have been done routinely.
Then why didn't you do it?
The contracts were already there. The materials there. It was going to be done very quickly. And
then you should have done it.
We got delayed for 2.5 years because we were sued by Nancy Pelosi in Congress not to build the wall. I won the suits. We won all of the suits. We won everything.
Lost quite a few suits.
And then they don't finish the wall. The wall is imperative. All of the things that go with the wall, the technology.
The wall doesn't work. People climb over the wall. We just saw the toddler being tossed over the wall.
Technology that goes into the wall and with the wall is so imperative. We had it down to a number that nobody could believe. And then all of a sudden I hear this. Now here's something else, that I stopped money going to 3 countries. And then you have Mexico, where I have a great relationship with the president. He's actually a great guy, different philosophy, but a great guy. He put $28,000 free of charge, $28,000.
On our border, that's not true. That's not accurate at all. Here's the kids being dropped over. You can see here. Let me make it full screen for you. There's kids. There's a toddler. This is like not a toddler, maybe 4 or 5 years old. I forget how old she is. I think there's a 9-year-old as well. This is a 14-foot section of the wall, of Trump's wall. There we go. Down you go. Kid's okay, thank God. But this video was all over Fox News for a few days. Look at this. Oh, we're in a crisis. Yes, we are. This is a crisis. Biden just called it a crisis the other day. Call it what you will. You got a whole bunch of unaccompanied minors being literally dropped in the United States. There's the wall. That's the wall not working. And the coyotes just, whoop, down they go. Woo, running away. They're fine. La, 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 la. And there's the toddlers. Oh, there's a path. Look at this. They're running down an actual path that comes to the border wall. They climb up the wall. They probably have probably something built on the other side. They just up, over, goodbye. Doesn't work.
soldiers on our border to stop people from coming in.
Wasn't our border.
And if you look at Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador,
Yeah.
we were giving them $500 million a year, but they weren't letting us take back these incredible, whether it's MS-13, but horrible people, gangsters.
They weren't taking back. By the way, they were. They weren't not letting us take them back.
Drug lords, horrible. They wouldn't let them come back. So I stopped payment. I said, how much are we paying them? $500 million, very early on. And as soon as I stopped payment, they called, we would love to have MS-13 back in our country.
They did not say that.
They wouldn't let us.
But they did. They did. Not a single bus was turned away of Honduran citizens, or not a plane was subverted by El Salvador full of El Salvadorian citizens. It never happened.
If a plane was flying over, they'd block the runways. If buses came in, they would.
No, never happened. How do you do that? Oh, here's a plane full of human beings. We're blocking the runway. You can't land here. Okay, well, we don't have much fuel. Meow. This is all just figments of his imagination.
Wouldn't let you into the country. So we couldn't get anybody back. Now we just bring them back. He ended that. Now what he's doing is they want to give billions, not 500 million. They want to.
He ended what?
Give billions and billions of dollars to these countries. I get along with all three of them, with the top people, all three of them. But they're going to be taking in billions and billions of dollars. And what's going to happen is that money is going to go to people that are going to bring people into our country. One other thing, they're sending us not their best.
No, nobody's sending. No one is sending migrants to the United States. No, I should say no country. There are parents that are sending their children to the United States. That's how desperate they are. And they're hearing messages, they're hearing ads on the radio saying, America's open. Send us your children. That's what they're hearing.
People.
And you've got American presidents, former presidents saying America's open. If Biden wins, there's no border. There's open borders. Here's Senator Ted Cruz. The borders are open. Here's Steve Scalise. The borders are open.
They're sending us people that in many cases, not in all cases, are murderers, drug dealers, human traffickers, really
toddlers,
bad rapists, really bad people. They're sending us people from their prisons. Those people are coming into our country.
I have not seen evidence of that, but that would be interesting to see.
And of course, that's just common sense, because all you have to do is take a look at what happened in the case of Cuba. Take a look at what happened in the case of other countries.
Okay.
But the three countries, you have really some unbelievably dangerous people coming into our country.
What's the case of Cuba? What are we looking at?
They're not vetted.
Was it Ted Cruz's dad killing JFK? Is that what we're looking at? I don't know to what he's referring there.
You talk about COVID. You talk about all of... That's one thing, but they're not vetted.
Are we talking about the Bay of Pig veterans that gave you the Bay of Pigs award? Are we talking about those Cubans?
From a criminal standpoint. So we have murderers and rapists coming into our country, and they're just walking in. And just to finalize it, we have people from Yemen and the Middle East coming in. And they're coming in at numbers. Now, they can't come in through the airports. They can't get on a plane. And we had the policy, the ban. We had a ban, which was a great thing, from very dangerous countries. They're ending the ban. They've already ended it.
Like Chad.
So that people can come in from dangerous countries. But if you
no, if they're on the no-fly list, they can't come in.
Take a look at what's happening with the Middle East. Many people from the Middle East are coming in through our southern border alongside of Mexico. What they're doing...
It's not many, and it happened during his administration as well.
...is insane. They're going to destroy our country.
Let me ask this. Okay,
the country's still here. Again, the suburbs have not burned down. I'm in a suburb right now. Don't even smell smoke. Nothing.
Joe Biden's been in Washington 50 years. He's the ultimate swamp creature. Okay, let's look at Georgia's law. They have 17 days of early in-person voting.
Yes.
Every single county has a drop box. There are no...
One drop box. That's all a county has to have in Georgia now. One drop box in the entire county. Think about your county. Think about one drop box in that county. Think about Harris County. Think about 10 million people living in the county. One drop box. It's Texas, but different story. It's the drop box is no defense. Oh, and in Georgia now, the drop box has to be in a location that's inside. Governor Kemp voted at an outdoor drop box last time in the 2020 election. No more outdoor drop boxes. It's got to be inside an establishment. It's basically just a voting place is what it is. You go in, you fill out your ballot at home, and then you have to go in and put it in the drop box, which is at a polling location.
No drop boxes in Delaware. There's no early voting in Delaware.
There's going to be early voting in Delaware. They already passed that in 2019.
Both states require voter ID. So now he's saying to the people of Georgia,
Delaware does not require voter ID for absentee ballots.
this is Jim Crow 2.0. And
what they've done in Georgia is now every time you want to vote absentee, you have to somehow imagine grandma. Grandma, we're going to need to see your ID. Use your scanner. No, you're going to have to print it out, Grandma. Okay, take a picture of it with your Android and then print it out. Take the picture. Now, Grandma, listen to me carefully. You need to get a PNG, a TIFF, a JPEG, or a virtual GIF. Okay? You need to take a picture of your... No, not your driver's license. That's expired, Grandma. That's not going to work. Remember, we took that away from you. You need to get your passport. No, you don't. Okay. You need to... Okay. Your social security number can be used, but only if you have a form of picture ID, Grandma. But again, that has to be in GIF format. That's what they've done in Georgia. People who voted for 50 years now have to somehow let the state know over their computer, which they may not have. They have to upload the image from their phone to the so stupid. So insane. You've already shown some ID when you register to vote. There is zero reason that you have to show ID again when you request an absentee ballot. Again, Washington, Colorado, Hawaii, Oregon, Utah, bright red Utah. They all do universal mail-in ballots. You don't have to request anything. It's just sent to you. Why? Because you requested it when you registered to vote. And you showed your ID. We're good. We don't need to see your ID 500 times.
To this, and I'm like, well, what did you ever do to make voting easier in your state? And the answer is he did nothing. And then he's using this incendiary...
He's been a United States Senator since he was 29. But I don't know. Like, that's not... The Secretary of State is not under his jurisdiction at all. Read the Constitution, Sean.
Racial language in the process. What's your reaction to that?
My reaction is the Georgia bill is far too weak.
It needs what? What would you like?
It's just, you have to have signature verification.
That's missing.
They don't have it.
Yeah, they do. They have double signature verification, triple signature verification in Georgia. Once when you register to vote, once when you request your absentee ballot, and then they verify the absentee ballot signature as well. There are 3 signature checks per vote in Georgia.
Why don't they have signature verification?
They do.
You want match.
You're a complete lunatic because they do.
You want matching signatures.
Yes, yeah, they do that already. We're good, but not strong enough.
They have many things that they didn't put in.
It's already there.
Look.
Look, I'm looking at a fucking idiot.
What happened is the governor and...
I need you to find me 11,800 votes. I don't think that's too big a request. Look, Mr. President, you're not dealing with correct data, but I just need those votes. Tell them that you made a miscalculation.
Others were afraid to be called racist. So they gave a very weak bill, and they...
Got nothing to do with racism. Now he's saying the Georgia bill is a weak bill. Same guy who was boycotting Coca-Cola, and then was caught twice on camera drinking Coke.
They called racist anyway. They had a much stronger bill a few weeks before this one came out.
Yeah.
The governor, what he did is so sad. You had a much stronger bill in Georgia. Now Texas has got a very strong but fair bill. But you have signature matching.
So does Florida. Ohio.
In Florida now, by the way, a couple of new things in Florida that just passed. In Florida, a riot can be called a riot if there's 3 people gathered. That can now be legally considered a riot in Florida. 3 people. That's a riot now in Florida, which then enables the police to use more of a response, etc. People can now shoot at 3 people gathered because they feel threatened by the riot. Florida is a stand your ground state. If you're driving a car in Florida and you see 3 people and you feel scared, it is now completely legal for you to run them over. I'm not making this up.
All of the states that we won were properly run. Look, Florida was properly run. Ohio was properly run. South Carolina was properly run. By the way, North Carolina, Democrat governor, we won that.
Democratic. Yeah, you won. That's fine. Right, and all 50 secretaries of states and all 50 governors, Republican and Democratic, all certified the election. There wasn't a single one out of those 100 people who said, can't certify, this election's rigged. Not one. Not 1% of the officials, Republican or Democratic, said the election was rigged. Not one out of almost 100 judges, many of whom were appointed by you, sir. Not one said, election's rigged. Not one.
You know, that's always very tough to win. We won it very nicely, properly run. He happened to have a Democrat governor, in all fairness.
But how does a guy whose state has far more...
And that Democratic governor certified the results of the election. That's how democracy works.
More restrictive voting laws get 200 corporations, Hollywood stars, Major League Baseball, they all leave. And if you look at his history of racial rhetoric, he partnered with a former Klansman to stop the integration of schools because he didn't want schools, his words, not mine, to become racial jungles. Now, imagine if Donald Trump had ever said that or partnered with a former Klansman. What would the reaction be?
The Democrats play a far tougher game than Republicans.
Donald Trump did partner with former Klansmen, so.
The Democrats have horrible policy. No borders.
Okay, but don't say no borders. They're going to use this clip in El Salvador to get people to come to the United States, which just adds to the immigration crisis. Stop saying that.
Defund the police.
Nobody's defunding the police. The Democrats just gave billions of dollars to the police. Not a single Republican voted to give money to the police. Not one. Not one Republican in the House or the Senate voted to give money to the police, and the Democrats passed it. Billions of dollars.
Sanctuary cities. I mean,
by the way, defund the police.
Thank goodness for Republicans. Yeah, defund. Well, now they don't want to give anything to the police. They're actually getting
billions of dollars.
Worse instead of better. And you look at the crime rates in these Democrat-run cities. They're going up by hundreds of. I don't know if you've seen what's going on in New York. I love New York. You see what's going on?
Crime is now going down in New York.
I'm stupid. I still live there. You're smart. You moved here. You know, New York income tax, state and city income, 15%.
Yeah.
On top of the new federal rates. All right, we got to take a break.
Yeah, and part of Trump's tax cut was to hurt New York because he got rid of the SALT, which is you can count your state tax against your federal tax. It's more complicated than that, but basically Trump raised the taxes in California, New York, places that have high income taxes, state income taxes. Trump raised everyone's taxes.
Break.
Okay.
All right, sit tight. Much more with President Trump right after this break.
A lot of commercials. Hold on.
We're in Mar-a-Lago.
Here we go.
We're in Palm Beach, Florida. Thanks for being with us. Question. I want to talk about the future. There is the Trump agenda, the Make America Great agenda.
Right.
I'll sum it up because
I kind of like America. I'm quite fond of it, actually. It's pretty great.
I think this will define.
There's a lot of problems. A lot of problems, but in general, we are so lucky to be in this country, or any developed country for that matter.
2022 and 2024. Very simple.
Christopher Ryan says, someone called me the S slur when I moved here, and I just ignored it. Slut? I don't know.
More liberty, more freedom of belief.
Wait a second. Let's go back here because something did happen to Christopher. Christopher says, as a person of color, I truly worry about my safety living in Florida. Sorry. Yeah, I know I got it, Christopher. I just didn't want to say it on the air. I didn't want to say the S slur on the air. Yeah. What's funny with the racists is that they just see the color of your skin and they throw an insult at you. Like my brother has been called the S word. He's a Native American. It's like, well, no. He's been called a wetback. He's been called a number of different things. It's like, I'm from Fort McMurray, Alberta. I have nothing to do with Mexico.
In the Constitution, lower taxes, less bureaucracy, constitutionalists on the bench.
Okay, raise my taxes. By the way, if you make less than $78,000, Trump raised your taxes. If you live in one of the high tax states, Trump raised your taxes.
You want secure.
Oh, if you use deductions, if you used a bunch of deductions like me, Trump raised your taxes.
Your borders, legal immigration.
Oh, but if you're part of the 1%, you're getting on average $30,000 back per year thanks to Trump.
Energy independence. You believe in law.
We are not energy independent. Go check the pump right now. Go look at the gas prices in this country and tell me that we're energy independent. We're not.
Law and order, safety and security for every American. Simple stuff. School choice.
Right.
Free and fair trade.
Right.
And what? Peace through strength. What?
Did not give us school choice. We still don't have school choice as the Republicans define it. By the way, that was part of the platform that didn't exist this time around. Remember, the Republicans in 2020 had no platform. None. There was no platform. The Republicans who keep saying we need to talk about the issues, they had no issues. There was literally no platform at the RNC, the National Convention. It didn't exist this year. Last time around, school choice was on that platform, and Trump in 2016 wandered around the country saying that he was going to make school choice happen. Never did.
What am I missing?
And many other things. The big thing is taxes, low taxes.
Low taxes.
You're going to have the biggest tax increase.
$1 trillion deficit without COVID, without anything COVID related. $1 trillion record deficit under Trump.
Increase you've ever seen. Pro-life, Second Amendment, so many different things that, look, we got 75 million.
Actually didn't do anything on abortion federally. Nothing happened on abortion under Trump in the United States. Now, he canceled federal money for abortions overseas, but that was like first thing he did too. But he didn't actually accomplish anything. It was all the states have been doing the heartbeat laws.
Votes. It's more than any sitting president in history by far. The word was if we got 65 to 66. We got 60.
Yeah, and that word was wrong. That word was very, very wrong. That word was a severe underestimation of how many people wanted you out of office. And it worked.
3 the first time in one.
That number is 581,000. Hold on. 542. This number right here is the updated number of dead in the United States from COVID.
If you got 65 to 66, there was no way you lost. We got more votes. We got 12 million more votes than we got. And it's never happened to another president. I don't know if you know, Sean. Usually in a second term, a president gets less votes.
Fewer. Just look at this face. Look at this. Why would you vote for that?
I got 12 million more. It's the biggest that's ever happened in history, from 63
The biggest.
to 75.
Okay.
Never happened before.
Yeah.
And
how many votes did the other guy get?
all of these things are good. These are popular things. But more important than popular, they're great things for this country. They're going to rip apart your Second Amendment. They're doing things to this country that Bernie Sanders would have said impossible. And I don't know if Joe knows what's going on with it.
I have no idea what he's referring to there.
Because I think you have a cabal. You have a group of people that are sitting around a table.
I want my own cabal. You guys want to be part of my cabal? I'd love to have a cabal. It sounds like a cabal.
Just say,
I also want a stronghold. I don't want a house. I want a stronghold. Like something with a wall around it, like a 14-foot wall, so I could drop some toddlers over it.
Do this, do this, do this. They're giving them these things to sign. It's hard to believe. Now, we're going to take back the House.
Giving you these things. You mean laws? Bills?
In 22. We have a real chance.
Yeah.
We were supposed to lose 25 seats. I got involved. I called 50.
And you lost. You lost the House, you lost the Senate, you lost the presidency. You got involved when the Republicans won everything. You got involved and they lost everything.
56 different districts. And we ended up picking up 16 instead of losing 25.
All 27 toss-up races before the election went Republican.
Okay, but the Republicans lost the House. It wasn't enough. They lost. Every field goal in the second half that the Republicans could kick, they kicked. Every one. No, we're not the Super Bowl champions, but we got every field goal.
All 27.
And we didn't lose one seat.
Okay, so here's my broader question, and
which has never happened before.
Okay, so I laid out
also nonsense.
The Make America Great Again agenda. America first, make America great again. Your agenda. I'd add to that free market solutions for health care.
Yeah.
Protecting pre-existing
Oh my God, we're only 23 minutes into this.
Conditions. That's another issue. But when
they want to take away your health care.
Well,
your
they want
health
to
care,
expand Obamacare.
Think of it, which is terrible. And by the way, we did a good job with Obamacare. I was given a choice very early on because we had people voting against, a couple of Republicans. The Republicans have to unify. The Democrats are always, they may have bad policy, but they don't. You don't have a Romney. You don't have a little Ben Sass. You don't have these people over there.
Well,
there are those people. There's literally a Joe Manchin in the Senate. That's the deciding vote. There's a Kristen Sinema in the Senate. That's the deciding vote. Yeah, we have those people in the Democratic Party.
Murkowski.
Lisa Murkowski's a disaster. I mean, she's a total disaster. And we've done so much. No, I didn't do it for her, but so much. If you look, Anwar in Alaska, the great highway that they've been looking to build for years. So many different things I've done. A train going into Canada and ultimately the United States, a railroad. We've done so much for Alaska, and much more than that. I always say never has anyone done so much for so little.
So let's lay out the...
Okay, but that doesn't mean that it has anything to do with reality if you've said that.
What I listed is the Cliff Notes version of what your agenda has been.
Pretty simple.
Okay, so now we've got elections coming up. You're right. It's the tiniest margin that they have in the House.
Well, Nancy Pelosi almost lost her job over it.
Correct.
She was supposed to be up there.
No, she did not. There was no almost with Nancy Pelosi. It wasn't even close.
30, 35, 40. She's up only a few seats right now. And that was because I called...
So, good question.
...districts having thousands and thousands of people on the phone, and I was making...
Right, and they pass everything they want to pass. Nancy Pelosi still, after all these years, has not lost a single vote that she has put before the House. Only speaker in modern history that can say that. Has never lost a vote. Not once. I'm not a Pelosi fan. Nancy Pelosi and me are oil and water, but she's the best Speaker of the House that we can remember.
Calls getting congressmen elected. I said to Kevin McCarthy 3 things. Give me everyone that you think is going to lose. Give me everyone that you think is tied. And everyone's just going to win by a little bit. Also, give me all of your new people. In other words, the new ones
That's 4 things.
Coming in, many of whom are women. I called all of them. And instead of losing 25 seats, we won 16.
Because you called them?
I mean, that's an incredible thing.
I can tell you a week before I called him and he said he was very worried. So that was...
We did that. I wasn't worried. And when you get into a district and you have 20,000 people on a call, you don't have to be worried.
So that makes him president.
This now gets down to, that was your agenda. You're right. You went up, what, 12, 13 million more votes the second election than the first one. My question is...
Never happened before.
Well, but my question is the ideas.
My question is, how many votes did the other guy get?
One other sidebar factor is that I think when I talk to people, they love the fact that Donald Trump fights. Okay, he makes promises, he keeps them, he fights for these principles I mentioned. Now the question is, for 2022, we have the House, but then you have, look at these states, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, Ohio, Arizona. These are the biggest bellwethers for what, and I would argue, probably a precursor or a preview of coming attractions for 2024. My question is this. Is this...
He's talking about states where there's a Senate race.
Should this now be the Republican Party agenda? Should anybody that wants to run for the House or the Senate, should they take this Make America Great agenda and fight for those things that you fought for the 4 years you were president?
If they want to win, yes.
But you lost. That was your agenda, and you lost. And that was the Republican agenda, even though they didn't have a platform, and they lost the House. And then after the election, you went in and tried to push your agenda in Georgia, and you lost. Twice. Hey, Republicans, if you're listening, now would be a good time to knock off. I'm not threatening anyone. To knock it off and stop doing the whole America First nonsense. First off, there's no platform. There is no agenda. It's just Trump. Secondly, you lost everything.
Expanded the Republican Party. You've seen, I mean, the Texas border, we have the biggest Hispanic vote since, as the governor said to me, he called me up, great governor, he said, since Reconstruction. I said, you're talking about Civil War, right? He said, since Civil War.
Okay, well, do you want to tell me how that's significant for the Hispanics?
If you want to win and win big, you have to do that. You have to do it now.
I mean, I remember the Alamo. Everybody remembers the Alamo. Your people didn't realize that the Alamo was not in Alamo, Texas. I remember that. Hispanics? You know how the North and the South had a big war to free the Hispanics. You guys remember that. And then there was Reconstruction where they rebuilt the wall to keep the Hispanics out. You guys remember that.
Now, let me just say, I talked about the House.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to lose 25, we won 16.
Oh my God, he is just clinging to that like a wet pillow.
Let me stop you here.
If I didn't get involved in
No, stop him there. Go ahead and stop him there.
the Senate, you would have lost at least 8 senators. You would be right now, if I didn't get involved, you would be
He got involved and lost the Senate.
60-40 with the Democrats leading. Governorships are huge.
No. Oh boy, that was a cut as well. Huge cut.
Lose 25, we won 16. Let me
stop you here.
If I didn't get involved in the Senate, you
that's
would
my
have
next
lost
question.
at least 8 senators. You would be right now, if I didn't get involved, you would be 60-40 with the Democrats leading. Governorships are huge. We just endorsed, as you know, Sarah Huckabee. She's going to do fantastically well. Most people dropped out of the race, and she's leading by a lot. We've endorsed a lot of Senate candidates. Mo Brooks in Alabama, he just went up 41.
One candidate is how many he's endorsed. One that I've heard of.
Points, and it looks like he's got clear sailing.
Marco Rubio.
Everybody. Marco, many people. Look, many people.
Many people. There's a finite amount of Senate races in 2022, but many people. He's endorsed one.
Looking to say, well, we want super conservative, only Trump. I also want them to win after the primaries, but I'm at 128-2 when I endorse people, 128-2. And if you go back earlier than that, we're at a much even.
Just listen to what he says.
Looking to say, well, we want super conservative, only Trump. I also want them to win after the primaries.
What's your record, sir? What's your record when you endorse people?
But I'm at 128-2 when I endorse people.
That's really bad. 1 win, 28 losses, and 2 ties? That's really bad, sir.
128-2.
Yeah, we heard you. That's pathetic.
And if you go back earlier than that, we're at a much even higher number.
Yeah.
When we endorse
140 and 3? What?
them, it means something, not just for the
Yeah, it means they're going to lose if they're 128 and 2. Who's the senile?
primaries, but for the general election. So we have great people running. We have some great people that are going to be announced.
Wait, does he mean 128 and 2? He might. Just the way he's saying it. 128 and 2.
Announcing, we have tremendous people.
If the Republican Party did get a little tougher, the agenda I spelled out, liberty, freedom, First, Second Amendment, constitutionalists on the bench, low taxes, less bureaucracy, energy independence, peace through strength, border security, legal immigration, free and fair trade. That's, if every Republican running ran on that agenda and made a promise to fight hard to implement that agenda.
In the Capitol.
It seems to me.
To fight as if you weren't going to have a country anymore.
Based on the number of votes you got in 2020, that would be a winning formula. My question is, will you help them formulate that narrative? I don't think it's that complicated.
Not complicated. It's common sense. You know, it's like it should be the party of common sense. You need people that can lead.
It should be. It is not. That was another jump cut, by the way.
That have a vision, that have personality.
God, I wish I knew what they were cutting out. Like, what is so bad that Hannity won't even put it on the air?
Otherwise, the clock is just the clock is ticking. Sean.
Yeah, the clock is just what could the clock be doing? What's he gonna say? What's ticking? Oh, the clock is ticking. Is that what the? Hello.
It's common sense. You know, it's like it should be the party of common sense. You need people that can lead, that have a vision, that have personality.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the clock is just the clock is ticking. Sean.
Ticking. The clock is ticking.
We have much better policy. Second Amendment.
You don't have a platform.
If we take.
That's the policy. Second Amendment.
Low taxes.
You take.
By the way,
COVID.
regulation. You didn't mention regulation. You know, I cut taxes more than any president's ever cut taxes.
Not true. Not true at all. Not even close.
But there was another thing I cut more.
I didn't mention regulation.
Regulation.
Possibly true.
Bureaucratic regulation.
Regulation, I think, was more important.
Yeah.
And you know who a big beneficiary of that is? Biden. Because I cut so much. It used to take 20 years to get a highway approved. Now you can do it in a very short period of time.
Let me take a break. I want to come back. There's a lot of issues involving warp speed, the vaccine.
God bless you. Here we go.
Welcome back to Hannity as we continue with President Donald Trump.
Yeah, but you better continue because the clock is, if you look at it, the clock, my uncle he's a genius, ticking.
Mar-a-Lago. All right, so Operation Warp Speed didn't get us one, but it got us 3 vaccines.
Yeah.
We've been able, that's never happened before. 200 million doses now have gone out to Americans, vaccination.
Right.
Okay, that means
Operation Warp Speed didn't get us the Pfizer vaccine. That was Germany.
a lot of lives are saved. You were criticized about the travel ban 10 days after the first case of COVID.
Nope, nobody did.
About a year ago, Dr. Fauci was saying, oh, masks don't work. In March of last year.
No, he wasn't saying that. He said at this time, masks are not being called for. The average American doesn't have to walk around wearing masks. Then we learn, I don't have to talk about masks.
Then you have Cuomo and Murphy and Wolf and Whitmer signing these executive actions, sending COVID patients to nursing homes. Now in New York,
as instructed by the CDC,
you sent the Navy hospital ship, converted it for COVID, converted the Javits Center for COVID. You built the hospitals, manned the hospitals, provided all the ventilators, PPE, gloves, gowns, masks, ventilators that everybody needed. 80% of those beds were never used.
Yes, because patients have the choice to be transferred to a ship or not. And the patient said, no, thank you. I'll stay right where I am. In fact, they had to use, it was either the Javits or was it the Mercy or the Comfort over on the East Coast? One of them, whichever one it was converted instead of a COVID unit into an overflow unit. because they wanted to keep the COVID patients in the hospitals where they're more used to dealing with the ICU situation. But yeah, you get in New York, in most states, you get to decide if you're going to be transferred. If you're ever in one hospital and they want to transfer to the other hospital, you're still the patient. The patient or the family gets to say no if they want to. That's standard practice. And anybody who was told, hey, we can send you to a ship where you can be on a cot. No, thank you.
And they were sent back to the...
Yeah, he manned the hospitals. The Army or the Navy or whatever were manning the military was manning the Javits Center and the Comfort and the Mercy.
They would have used Javits Center, if they would have used this great, massive hospital ship, all the
Okay, but they weren't needed.
things that we did for them, you would have saved 16,000 lives, maybe more than that.
Why did Operation Warp...
Well, then the CDC, your CDC, shouldn't have instructed patients to be sent back to nursing homes.
Warp Speed work so well? What was it that you were financially backing up these pharmaceutical companies, that they're not going to experience massive losses?
So two things. First of all, we did a great job in getting gowns and masks and all of the different equipment that we were building equipment.
Did a terrible job with that.
Complex equipment, the most complex, getting it out to the States because the cupboards were bare in the States.
They weren't.
And I inherited bare cupboards. There was no...
Did not. Somewhere between 17 and 19,000 ventilators. We know that now. Nonsense. You know how many ventilators we eventually needed? 11,000.
Nothing here. We had practically nothing in this country, and now it's been totally rebuilt. We did a great job. We got very little credit for the great job we've done. And then, as you know, Federalist, it should be up to the governors. Some governors were fantastic. I could write a great book. Some were less than fantastic, and some were absolutely terrible.
Yeah, he keeps promising this list of governors that were good or bad or fantastic. Is he threatening us?
But we, like Ron, did a great job. Texas did a great job. So many. I mean, I could go.
Most red states.
It's really interesting, isn't it, though? I mean, they did a really great job. The most locked down state in the whole country.
Okay, that was cut again.
Is Michigan. And Michigan is the worst in a.
Michigan is not the most locked down state in the country. Whitmer is reluctant to lock people down in Michigan because it's political suicide there.
Country.
How did you get Warp Speed? What was the mandate that pushed these companies to do something that had never been done before?
So I was told by Dr. Fauci and by many people, the quickest you're going to have a vaccine is 3 years, and it could be 5 years, and it could be longer than that, and you could also not have it at all. And then I got involved. I said, that's ridiculous. And I got involved with the FDA. Nobody has ever pushed. They hate me. They hate me so badly, and I understand it. And
there's a list of people that hate you.
No,
you're okay with that.
It's okay. Look, we're helping people. We're saving tens of millions of people with the vaccine. Yeah. So I pushed them. They
tens of millions.
Had all these statutory periods. They had to go a certain speed. We got it done in less than 9 months. It would have taken minimum 3.
The FDA did not develop the vaccines at all. It's not how it works. The FDA approves the vaccines for use. They do not develop vaccines.
3 years would have probably.
He was in charge of the FDA for 4 years. Doesn't know this. Does not know what the FDA does.
Gone 5 years. I don't think they would have ever had.
Didn't you back them up financially as well?
Yes. Okay. Then I did two things. I backed the company.
Did not back up Pfizer.
Companies up financially, and Pfizer didn't want to admit it, and they had to retract.
They did. Well, they didn't retract anything. You never gave Pfizer funding.
Their statement. You know, Pfizer's really in. Okay? I'll give you a little breaking news. Pfizer is in with the FDA. And what the
FDA is a government regulatory agency. Pfizer is an American company that was, with the help of the German government and biotechnical firms, developed an mRNA vaccine that the United States then purchased and furthermore turned down 200 million doses of.
The FDA did with Johnson & Johnson is so stupid. You know, they all want me to do a commercial because a lot of our people don't want to take vaccine. You know, I don't know what that is exactly. Republican, I don't know what it is.
Because you make them doubt science and the press and Fauci and everybody else that knows what they're doing. That's why. You sowed a garden of doubt. And those seeds have now germinated and grown, and the vaccines are part of that. You sent all these people to these wacko right-wing Q sites, and those sites are all about selling nutraceuticals, vitamin supplements, vitamin D, take your vitamin K. COVID can't go against iron and fire. That's how those sites make money. Go watch InfoWars for a few minutes. They will advertise nutraceuticals, keep you healthy. Keep the COVID bug out of your system. They make money selling the products. By the way, if there's one commonality, Kate Starr, who's a professor at the University of Washington, also a former WNBA star, Kate started a wonderful paper exploring the wackos, the anti-vaccines. This is years ago, by the way. The far right and the far left have one thing in common: vitamin supplements. They all fall for the vitamin supplements. If you take vitamins, okay, good for you. Some effective. Do some research on the vitamin supplements that you're taking. The vast majority of them are a complete waste of money. John Oliver must have done something about it. Hold on. Let me just look that up. You guys watch.
Is in with the FDA. And what the FDA did with Johnson & Johnson is so stupid. You know, they all want me to do a commercial because a lot of our people don't want to take vaccine. You know, I don't know what that is exactly. Republican, I don't know what it is.
You encourage people to get
yeah, so John Oliver has done a couple of videos on it. In 2014, he did Dr. Oz and nutritional supplements. You can watch these on the YouTube. Also did a... let's see. He did something on InfoWars as well. And InfoWars is all nutraceuticals.
Encourage them to take it. I do. But they want me to make a...
Did you get it?
Yes, I did. I had it and I took it, okay?
You got both.
Because I believe. So here's
I had it and I took it. Oh, he had COVID and he took the vaccine. Okay.
the thing. They want me to do a commercial saying, take the vaccine.
Wow.
And they think that's
Okay. Listen to Sean's reaction there. Well,
very important, and I'd certainly do it. But then I call them, I say, let me ask you a question. You just did something. 6 people out of 8 million people. Somebody said that Tylenol, women's birth...
It's 6.8 million people. So 7 million rounded up to 7 million. Why? Why does he have to inflate every single number?
Control or cause far more. 6 people
out of 7 million
experienced some difficulty.
Hannity corrects him. He just railroads through it.
6 people, and that's too bad. It's terrible. But they paused it.
One of them died.
That's the worst thing you could have done from a public relations standpoint.
Public relations standpoint. This is a public health standpoint. Pausing it was exactly the right thing to do. That's what you're supposed to do.
They paused Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Yeah.
And it probably even affects the other vaccines a little bit. But they paused it. It's had a devastating impact.
It hasn't. We're vaccinating 4 million people a day. It's okay. It has not. We continue to vaccinate. The number of vaccinations per day continues to climb. Hopefully, Johnson & Johnson will be made available again soon, but you had to pause it because you have to investigate what's going on, see how many other cases there are of blood clots, see what other cases come out of the woodwork, warn the physicians to be looking for this, warn the people to be looking for the symptoms. If I got the vaccine and 10 days later my leg was sore, I would not connect the two.
Did they want me to do a commercial, some commercial, and they do this pause? Now, here's your breaking news.
What?
They love Pfizer. They get along with Pfizer so well. And Pfizer doesn't like me.
Okay.
Because I put favored nations on prescription drugs.
Yeah, that hasn't happened. Have your prescription drug prices come down? Because they haven't for anyone.
And favored nations will mean, if Biden stays with what
We
I
get
did,
the lowest
it's in the
prices.
courts now, it will mean we have the lowest prices, we have the highest prices in the world by far. And in fact, last year, I got them to be slightly lower, but just first time
No,
it's happened in 32 years. But here's the thing.
no, that was 3 years ago, and that never actually reached the consumers. That's the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, which includes rebates given to the pharmacies by the drug companies. The consumers don't get that money. And it was 1%. 1%. When he says a little bit or just slightly, that's 1% decrease in the cost of drugs. And by the next year, they had gained that 1% back.
52 years.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I put a favored nations clause. So Pfizer and all these drug companies dislike me also.
Everybody
I can be
dislikes
liked
you.
by everybody, but I won't be doing a good job. So I put favored nations because you have countries that pay a tiny
He cannot be liked by everybody. I will never like this man.
fraction for the exact same pill made in the exact same factory that comes in the exact same box. And what I did, Sean, is put a favored nations, meaning the United States will pay whatever the price is of the lowest nation in the world. The drug companies went crazy. They spent a lot of money, and they did something else. They got
companies.
together.
Why are they charging us more?
They got together.
Profit motive? Sean? Are you seriously asking that? They're private corporations. Some of us has been yelling about Big Pharma for years, and you poo-pooed us. Now the poo-poo's on you. Listen to what Sean Hannity just asks. This is Sean Hannity on Fox News. This is a journalist journalizing right now. This is his serious question.
Meaning the United States will pay whatever the price is of the lowest nation in the world. The drug companies went crazy. They spent a lot of money, and they did something else. They got
companies.
together.
Why are they charging us more?
They got together with the FDA, and before the election, they knew.
Why are these corporations trying to make as much money as they can? Why are they doing that? Why?
We had the answer before the election.
They
Instead
had
of
the
saying
vaccine.
we have the vaccine, it works, 95%, all this, they waited 2 days after the election. Pfizer did that.
No, the election was November 3rd. Pfizer was cleared on December 11th. It wasn't 2 days after the election. November 3rd, a month, and then the 11th. That's when Pfizer was cleared by the FDA. You know, they're in with the FDA. 2 days after the election.
With the FDA. Now, the FDA, a lot of bureaucrats,
Yeah,
but they've been there for a
right. Professionals.
long time,
Yeah.
and they'll be there
Civil servants. Yes, that's what we want. We want the FDA not to have a lot of turnover. That's what we want.
for a long time.
Yeah.
But they were very slow, and they've been very slow.
Yeah.
So Pfizer got
run,
together, and I'll tell you something. I think it's very suspect is what they did with Johnson & Johnson, because the only people that
I think it's very suspect is what they did with Johnson & Johnson. I guess?
are happy about that are Pfizer and Moderna.
Pfizer.
The only people that are happy about that, because what they did is a terrible, terrible thing.
I want to know.
I am also happy about it. That is exactly what I want the FDA to do. That is public safety. That's what I want from the FDA. That's just me. Also, regulation of ketchup.
Know what level of involvement you will have for the agenda for elections in 2022. And yeah, I'll ask you the question, what your plans might be for 2024. More.
Still has not filed for 2024. Wow, lots of ads in this episode. He knows that people are watching, so he's showing as many ads as he can. That's like an 8-minute ad break right there. Visit mypillow.com.
Question.
Yeah.
What are your plans to help for 2022? We talked about the House and the states. Are you thinking about running again in 2024? And if so, where are you in that process?
We are going to help with
Pumpkin pie, they're still letting you use the internet in Ontario. I thought the whole thing was shut down. I thought that you weren't allowed to, you had to lay in bed, hands at your side at this point in Ontario. Ontario, if you haven't heard, is being ravaged by one of the variants of the virus, and they are in lockdown again. I'll see if I can pull up a graph on Ontario. It's scary. Be safe, pumpkin pie.
The House, I think we have a really good chance. I'm working with everybody, including Kevin McCarthy, on taking back the House. I think we have a really good chance on doing it. Likewise, the Senate's going to be a little bit tougher, but the Senate. So I told you that at least 8 senators would have lost their race. I could name them, but I don't want to embarrass them. But that
Canada, just for the first time 2 days ago, it was either yesterday or 2 days ago, just overtook the United States in terms of cases per million that day. First time that's happened. Take a look at what Canada's done here. This is Canada as a whole, not just Ontario, but this is bad stuff happening in Canada. Right there, we got through January, and then just skyrocketing. The most cases, total cases, April 5th through 18th in the last week, 56,000, basically 57,000 cases in Ontario. That is just absolutely nuts. So Ontario, most of Ontario is in a serious lockdown right now. So if you're in Ontario, take care of yourself.
includes Mitch, who was heading south. He called me up. He said, I need your help. And I'm very popular in Kentucky. I love Kentucky, and they love me. And I helped him, and he won by the most he's ever won by. So
I'm not even going to look that up, but okay, fine.
We're going to help with the Senate, and I think we have a
and he lost the Senate.
Good chance.
You got Marco Rubio. I hear Herschel's name mentioned a lot in Georgia.
Herschel would.
I hear Laura Trump's name mentioned a lot in North Carolina. Sununu in New Hampshire.
He's not a big Laura Trump fan.
I think he could win that race.
I think so too.
Ron Johnson in Wisconsin.
Ron Johnson's a great.
He's been a great senator.
He is much more popular than anybody understands.
We don't know who's going to run in Ohio, but these are all.
We have some good candidates in Ohio.
So
I think we have a real chance at the Senate. I think we have a really, really good chance.
Well, tell me how far.
Well, yeah. Every election you've got a chance at the Senate. Every election you've got a chance at the House. In the House, everybody has to run. The whole 438. All of them have to run again. So yeah, you always have a chance in the House. Here's the thing. When you came in 2016, the GOP had the House, the Senate, and then the presidency. When you left, they had nothing. Nothing.
How far are you willing to go? Are you going to travel? Are you going to do speeches? Are you going to do rallies for these candidates?
If they need a rally, we'll do a rally. We'll do...
This is Trump being non-committal. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, sure. Sure. He's bored of all this. Has not filed to run again in 2024 yet. It's a one-page form. Hasn't done it.
We'll do all...
Good night, LP. Sleep well.
All sorts of things. No, we're all...
You might as well go to bed, LP, because this is the wind down to the interview. This is all going to be more softballs.
Alabama is going to be a tremendous win with Mo Brooks. We have a tremendous... Look, almost everybody I endorse wins. We had a House seat in Louisiana.
You know, like David Perdue or Kelly Loeffler.
A wonderful woman, just happened. Her husband died of COVID. He was Congressman-elect. And she is, Julia, she was fantastic. But a lot of people thought she might not get in the runoff. I endorsed her. She got 65% of the vote. There was no runoff. It's very important that we get the right people. And that means in the Senate, it means in the House, and it also means in governorships, because if you have a good governor...
And legislature, state legislatures.
Well, that's so important. The legislatures have...
Well, that's where they're going to fix the voting issues.
We've had a lot of great legislators. Unfortunately, the courts refuse to listen, even though it's in the Constitution that they have to. The courts have been very, very
H.R. 1, I argue, usurps the constitutional authority of state legislatures. Now the big question. Two parts. What do you miss the most about being in the White House, and how seriously are you considering running again in 2024?
I miss the most helping people, because I can directly help people. That's why I did it. Look, this has been a very traumatic... I had a great life, great company, great business.
This has been a very traumatic... I had a great life. Just finish a sentence.
No problems. And now all I do is people go after you. It's vicious. It's horrible. But you know what? I love doing it because I help people. And I've helped them more than any president with the cutting of taxes, with the regulations, with right to try. You know how big right to try is?
Huge.
Where you don't have to travel to all sorts of different continents to try and get something. We have the greatest doctors in the world, greatest labs. We can use their medicines now. If somebody's terminally ill, they can sign a quick little document. You can use and that's had a huge thing.
What are you most proud of, though?
A lot of things. I'm very proud of the tax cuts. I hope they don't screw it up because the jobs, you know, we brought back a record. I think so. We brought back a record. Well, it's still not going to be as high as it was. You know, it was really 39%.
Right.
So it looks like it could be at 25%. I brought it down to 21. But I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of and very importantly, the regulation cuts. I'm very proud of what I did for the military. I've rebuilt the military, and I've added something called Space Force. It's going to be so powerful, so important. So I've added another, think of it,
They sell Space Force paraphernalia at Mar-a-Lago.
Added to the military. Hasn't happened since, I guess, 75 years since the Air Force.
And the economy
We've added
pre-COVID,
Space Force.
Record low unemployment.
We had the
for every
greatest numbers
demographic.
in the history of the world. We had the greatest economy in history.
Not true.
World. We
Not
had
true.
the greatest economy. We had the greatest job numbers. We had the greatest.
Nope.
We're up to 160 million people. We were never even close to that.
Well, population keeps increasing.
And if you think of it, I did it twice because then the whole world went down. We've come back stronger than any other country in the world.
Not true.
You know, they used to hit me with Germany and France and this and that. Well, they're doing terribly right now. They're all locked down. It's a disaster. They're having riots on their streets. This country is coming back strong. And it's very interesting. Places
Yeah, there's no riots on the streets of the United States.
like Florida and Texas and
Heather says try the cheese.
many others. I mean, I could name many others. I think in almost all cases run by Republicans. I think in all cases, but they've done so well. And you look, I saw the other day Michigan. I would say there's been nothing as close, other than for her husband, who was, you know, had free run of the place. I don't think that there's been any state more locked up than Michigan.
That's just not accurate at all. Right now, the CDC is telling Whitmer to lock it up. Lock it down. Lock it up, lock it down, to just basically lock it. Just take that lock step. And she won't. She's asking for more vaccines. Fine, yes, vaccines are great, but your vaccine solution is 5 to 7 weeks away. You gotta lock it down now, and she won't do it.
Are you running again in 2024?
Oh, apple pie and cheddar is a must. Absolutely. The sharper, the better.
Or what are the odds?
What you can do, too, is sop up. Take the slice of cheddar and sharp cheddar and sop up, especially if it's a cinnamon apple pie. And just, yes.
If I were to
First
ask,
of all, it's a long time. The odds, what are the odds? Look,
the odds.
I
what are
got
the odds?
tremendous numbers. Nobody's ever gotten the numbers I got. No sitting presidents come even close.
That's such bullshit. Biden got the numbers that you got and more. Problem solved.
There's more popularity now than there was the day before the election because they see how bad things are at the border. They see what's going on. They see that their guns are going to be gone, their Second Amendment, their taxes are going up, regulations are going through the roof, jobs are going to go out. What do you see? You know, this is going to
None of this is happening. The reverse of what he's saying is happening.
take a little while to show.
Yeah.
But if they add all these regulations back, the jobs are going to be gone.
Okay, we're going to add millions of jobs over the next couple of years. Millions of jobs that wouldn't have been lost. Remember, this is the only president in modern history since we started keeping stats who left office with fewer jobs than when he came into office. He is the only president in modern history to lose jobs. The only one. First time it's ever been done.
Energy independence is going to be gone. So I say this, I am looking at it
We don't have energy independence to be gone.
very seriously, beyond seriously. From a legal standpoint,
Beyond very seriously. Super duper seriously.
I don't want to really talk about it yet, It's a little too
If
soon.
you did
Okay, so very seriously, super duper double secrety. Seriously, he doesn't want to talk about it.
run and did win, what would you do differently?
When I came in, we
I
were
would
hit
pardon
with
Matt Gaetz.
phony Russia investigations.
Yeah. Was not phony. We have collusion with Russia. That has been confirmed. There's no doubt.
It was a total phony deal.
That was
wasn't-
3 years of your
No, no.
presidency.
I've been fighting off investigations for 5 years. I mean, really, since the
You're not supposed to fight the investigations. See? That's called obstruction of justice.
almost the day that we came down.
Yeah.
And they were corrupt, Democrat-inspired. I still have it. They were Democrat-inspired investigations.
Interesting. Listen.
Investigations for 5 years. I mean, really, since almost the day that we came down. And they were corrupt, Democrat-inspired. I still have it. They were Democrat-inspired investigations. Russia.
That is the first time that we've heard him admit that he is being investigated currently. We know that he is, but he hasn't said anything about it.
Remember, Sean, and I don't have too much time, I guess, with you, but a story, I think it's interesting. I haven't told it before. During the campaign in 2016, I'd be asked, like by one of our aides, "Sir, do you have anything to do with Russia?" I said, no, that would be it. Then a month later.
During the campaign, he was trying to build in Moscow. He was trying to build he was signing paperwork attempting to build in Moscow. During the campaign, we have those signed letters.
Somebody would say, "What do you know about Russia?" I said, "No, what? I don't know what you're talking about."
What?
Okay, I wouldn't think of it. Then after 3 or 4 or 5 times, people would say, "Do you know anything about Russia?" I kept saying, "Huh." So after 3 or 4 times, I
Nothing. Nothing. Every time he was asked about Russia during the campaign, he would brag about his Miss Universe contest.
said, "What's going on with Russia?" They created a
Well, at that point, he said, Russia, if you're listening, I know that if you could find the missing 30,000 emails from Hillary Clinton, the media would reward you mightily. But it had nothing to do with Russia. Apart from that, which, by the way, was the day that Russia started looking for Hillary Clinton's emails, apart from that,
phony deal. It was paid for by crooked Hillary
They
Clinton.
made a phony Russian disinformation dossier.
Destroyed.
And they used it to spy on you as a candidate?
Right.
nope, they did not. They used it to spy on Carter Page. And Carter Page was not in the Trump campaign. He had been fired from the Trump campaign by the time the Pfizer warrants came out.
Your transition team, and while you were president, it says at the top of a Pfizer warrant, verified. It was unverifiable, and they knew it.
17 times.
They knew it right from the get-go. They knew it, they were warned beforehand, and they knew it certainly
What was the 17 times?
from Christopher Steele and the subsource by January.
It was a total fraud.
Yeah.
And you know what it did?
And it was not used in the Mueller report. The dossier was not used in the investigation of Trump. It does not appear in the Mueller report. In 400 pages, dossier is mentioned one time, and that's only in a quote of Trump's tweets when Trump is trying to intimidate witnesses. Was not used in the Mueller investigation.
Hurt any possibility of dealing with Russia. We could have had a good look. They'll say, "Oh, he loves."
He might be referring to the IG saying that there were 17 improprieties in in the application for the FISA courts. That might be what he's talking about. I'm sure that's what he's talking about now that I'm thinking about it.
Russia. Getting along with Russia is a good thing, not a bad thing. Getting along with China.
No, it's not. Right now, Russia is amassing troops on the Ukrainian border. That's one of our allies.
China is a good thing. The problem we had with China was COVID, because nobody ever took out so much money from China. You know, if you look at China, I was
You didn't get a penny from China.
taking tens of billions of
No, it's not the way tariffs work. We pay the tariffs.
dollars of tariffs from China, and our farmers were doing great. The reason they were doing great was because of the tariffs. I was able to sign a great deal for our farmers. But getting along with these countries, getting along with Kim
Again, we looked at the price of wheat, which he said has never been higher. Not true. Not even close.
Jong-un of North Korea. When I came in, President Obama said, and I think this is very public, the biggest problem we have is North Korea. There's going to be a war. There was no war. We got
Obama never said that. Not once.
along great.
It is not public.
He writes me letters.
100%
I like him. He likes me. There's nothing wrong with that. I got along great with President Putin. I liked him. He liked me. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. They made up this phony hoax just recently, which came out 2 days ago, that it was a total phony Russian.
It was a big deal in the campaign.
No, but you know what it does? It keeps you away from these countries, from dealing economically. We could have made a lot of money. They have great natural resources. We could have made a lot of money and done well in jobs and everything else. Getting along with Russia is a good thing. Getting along with these countries is a good thing, not a bad thing.
If I were going to bet, there's probably a lineup now. It sounds like you're running. It sounds like you haven't lost any engagement. You've been very generous with your time.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And thank all of you for
All right. Wow. Wow. All right. All of you should head to bed. It's late. So, yeah, we're coming up on 10 p.m. on the West Coast, and I still have a few things I need to do before heading to bed. So, everybody, have a wonderful night. And I apologize. I didn't get the studio set up literally till this evening. Been moving things around here the last couple of days. Now it's back on track. Tomorrow, I hope that I can let me see what's on the agenda for tomorrow. It's Tuesday. Maybe late afternoon tomorrow. I think I can broadcast earlier than I have today. Everything's set up, and I think that I'm imagining you guys can hear me right now. So that's an improvement over what happened over the weekend. And remind me, if you see me in the chat room on the Twitters, ask me if I ordered what I need. I need a USB cable so I can make the broadcast situation even better than it is. And Twitter seems to be working. So thanks, everybody, for watching. Everybody have a good, wonderful, safe night. If you're in Ontario or you're made of pumpkin, be very, very careful out there. Same thing goes for everybody in Michigan, etc. Let's just check. Let's just do the COVID exit strategy before we get out of here. See what's going on across the country. COVID exit strategy is my go-to in my head, which then we got a number of unsafe states out there right now. These are severe risks. Right now, Michigan is severe risk. Minnesota, not looking in good shape. Colorado, you guys are in trouble. Illinois, Florida, Puerto Rico has never stopped being in trouble. Pennsylvania, Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine. Maine, by the way, not a real place. It's all just part of New England. Just make that New England. We don't need 3 states up there. So ridiculous. Anyway, if you live in New England, I'm sorry that you can't figure out that you just need to be 1 state. Look at this. This is like 6 states at most. Have you seen Canada? 10 provinces. 3 times the size of this little place. Just be careful out there. Low risk? Literally nowhere. Nowhere in the country are we at low risk from COVID right now. But it's over. You don't have to wear masks anymore. That's what we hear. All right, guys, I'm turning off the lights. Everybody have a safe and wonderful time. Thanks for watching. Here's some closing credits.
Kevin, thanks for that.